What is up, mortals? Alex here. Today I have a Nekroz deck profile for you guys. Very excited to bring you this deck profile to all of you. One of my favorite decks to work on and one of my favorite decks to play in the entire game. This deck taught me a lot about the game and how to play successfully, gather resources, knowing when to hold back and when to be aggressive. And the best thing about this deck is the consistency that it has is extremely resilient when it comes to that. It can OTK, it can grind, it can get to whatever it wants anytime it wants, which is a big plus and one of the big reasons why I picked up the deck. As you all know, Nekroz got a small gift from Konami and that last limited and forbidden ban list yesterday. We did receive one, which was very underwhelming. I'm sure a lot of people were upset with the changes because there were no changes except to the unlimited section. To me, it was a godsend, of course. Having Unicore at 3 makes the deck a lot better, a lot more resilient in the mid to late game, which is really good for the deck overall. It was cool. I was working on the list last week. I had an amazing list I wanted to try out, and it's been testing really, really well. So I figured I'll bring it to you guys. And with the changes that the ban list made the deck a lot better. So I will be explaining some of the card choices. Some of them are very standard, but others are a little different than usual lists, than the most lists that you see running around. I am not playing any Pot of Desires or Extravagance in this deck. Even though those cards are very strong, I don't like the restriction that it puts in the deck. One of the best cards in the deck is Unicore and Valkyries, and if you resell Pot of Extravagance, you won't be able to use Valkyries effect to draw, and if you play Pot of Desires, you might banish some of the cards that you would want to keep in the main deck to resell some of your plays. This is a 41 card deck. I couldn't bring myself to cut the 41st card. It does so much for the deck, and I'll explain when I get to it. But this is a 41 card deck, extremely consistent, extremely powerful, and lots of fun. Starting with the best card in the deck, Brio. Discard itself to search a Nekroz monster. Not much to say about that. Excellent effects, high consistency. It's back at 3. You now have this card anytime you want, mid-late game, anytime you have it, it's just good overall. Its on field effect, target 2 monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck and return them back to the deck, which is very powerful. This is one of the reasons why the deck has an easy time fighting the crazy boards the game is putting out now. Especially now that Unicore's at 3, you're going to be able to establish a Unicore turn 1 or turn 2, and then bring back their resources for them to summon again if they're able to fight through the Unicore. But 3 Brio, just want to have it at all times. Excellent card. More searchers, more consistency, 2 Clausulas. Much like Brio, Clausulas can discard himself to add any Nekroz spell or trap. The theme does not have any traps currently, but hopefully in the near future we get some support for the deck, and Clausulas could go and fetch us a real trap. For right now, he's mainly here to search the ritual spells. He has consistency, but the ritual spells are highly accessible by any card in the deck. Honestly, there's so many ways to search them, but we still have an in-theme way to search for ritual spells, and his field effect is actually not too bad. That's the one reason I played 2 instead of 1. The one is to search ritual spells, and the other one is to actually summon. He has a quick effect that on field can target a monster that's special from the extra deck, make his attack 0, and negates effects, which is huge to run over bigger monsters your main Nekroz monsters can run over, or to control the board by negating specific effects your opponent might be threatening you with. 2 Clausulas, very good. Level 3 warrior actually matters a little bit since we're playing reinforcements of the army. And he can also be searched by Shred. Very good. Not 3, and 1 is definitely not enough. You want a second copy. For consistency, Preparation of Rite could be the best card in the deck, honestly, because this card can search any of your ritual monsters except for the higher levels, but Brionet can go and get those. So Preparation of Rite lets you get Brio, which is the best card in the deck, like I stated, and it also has an additional ability where it lets you recur your ritual spells, which is really, really huge in this list, and I'll explain to that when I get to it. I'm very happy that Prep is still at 3. For the last consistency card, we play one Rhoda. Rhoda has 2 targets, one of them being Colossalos. Level 3 warrior searches ritual spells, so that's what Rhoda can go and get us. Or he can go get us Shred, which we play 2 of. Again, Rhoda is just an extra copy of Shred. Shred is at 3, and I'm not playing 3 because as good as he is, he's not as impactful or important to the deck as he once was. Thanks to the Impcantation monsters, Shred is just a recovery play or a power play mid to late game, which this deck will definitely grind. We'll try to grind with our opponent. That's what I built the deck for, make it consistent, break our opponent's initial board, and then grind them out. Since the deck is very resilient at that. So the second Shred comes out into play mid to late game when you are top decking. Top decking a Shred with a few ritual spells in graveyard is extremely good. It starts your engine right back up, and if you have this early on, you can go and get a warrior Nekroz ritual monster when it's distributed by the effect of a card, and ritual summoning is being distributed by the effect of a card. So in theory, he is a searcher, and he can meet the requirements for the whole tribute summon. Very good, just 2 of them, no more. For the brand new unlimited Unicore, arguably one of the best cards in the game, probably the best ritual monster in the game, and the reason why a lot of people play the deck. Nekroz of Unicore has a very strong effect on feel, which makes any monster summon from the extra decks, their effects are negated. They can still activate and resolve anywhere else, but while they're still face up, Unicore will negate that. And that's the main reason why this card is so powerful. Very good any time in the game. Now being at 3, facilitates a lot of the plays, a lot of the power plays that the deck lost, thanks to Unicore being 2-1. But now at 3, you can use its effect in hand to recur any Nekroz card from the graveyard, which is really, really huge. It lets you have access to 3 additional copies of any Nekroz card you want, and you really want to have this card on field since he's the bread and butter for a lot of the plays. Extremely happy he's at 3. Very, very, very good card. The focal point of the deck, and ever since I've been playing Nekroz, Valkyries, in my opinion, is the best way to play the deck. There is a lot of ways, of course, like Trishula, Spam, Unicore Control, or just playing floodgate monsters like Archlord Christia or our Vanity's Ruler, which we still play one of those, but I still feel like focusing the deck on Valkyrie is a lot better overall, and in the long run, Valkyrie's effect on feel, it's the reason why I fell in love with the deck, honestly. Being able to tribute any number of monsters from your hand or field to draw cards equal to a number of monsters attributed up to 2, it's just so good. It's just so much fun. We all know how fun it is to draw cards in the game and how important it is to go +1 every turn, and Valkyries makes that happen to the extreme. Very good card. I could see myself playing 3 of this again, but with Unicore being at 3 now, I don't think there is a need to play more than 2. And honestly, the hand effect is the one sole reason that I play a second copy. We want to have one on field, and we still want to have one in hand to prevent our opponents at a battle phase. Very, very good. Which there's a third reasoning why this card is at 2 and not at 1, and I'll get to it eventually. But Valkyries, very strong, one of the better cards in the deck. For more utility, 2 Nekroz of Trishula. This is a very well-known, famous card in the game. You all know Trishula. It's a powerhouse. It's very threatening, and it's scary. It can break boards, and it can beat over anything in the game, really, after you banish their things. Non-targeting banish, it's just too good. The only thing that makes me want to play a second Trishula is the impermanence running around in the metagame right now. People are playing Veil or any impermanence, so if they draw impermanence for turn on your Unicorn when you're trying to control them, that Trishula will stop that. You can cycle it back, of course, but having a second one to back up the first one is very strong. A lot of the times you need to resolve a Trish to put you in a winning position, and they might have a Veil or an impermanence or a Widow Anchor, and Trishula definitely deserves a second spot in the deck just for that play, to ensure your plays will go out successfully. And also, trishing your opponent turn after turn is a lot of fun. Excellent card, very, very fun to play with, of course. For the last Nekroz monster in the main deck, in the 41st card, Decisive Armor. Decisive Armor is a really weird one, not because of the level, nor the typing. It's just it doesn't really do as much as the other ones, especially in a metagame that's this fast. But I still acknowledge its on-field effects. But actually, both effects are excellent. But its effect on field is what I value the most, especially right now. The hand effect, you can target one of your Nekroz monster, discard this, and it gains 1,000 attack and defense until the end of the turn, which is fairly cool. You know, like it makes your Unicore 33, so even Blue Eyes can't beat over that. It lets you go for random OTKs when you have this in your hand and able to ritual summon 2 to 3 times. Very good card, but its on field effect lets me target any set card in the game, any set card they control, and banish it. So it baits back row, something that the deck struggles with. It's really good to get rid of their Call by the Grace if they were waiting for a Unicore, for a Valkyries or a Brio. You can just threaten them with this and banish those sets. Against Altergeist or Guru, it's really good. They can't really out this unless they bounce it back. And the deck has a lot of ways to ritual summon, so you're just going to start picking their back row apart. Very good card. And against Guru, you can just banish the Guru itself. Just a one, definitely spawned the deck, 41st card, I couldn't find myself to cut it. We play a lot of ritual monsters, and we need ritual spells to do that, to summon those guys. So I am playing some, and I'm not playing that many, I'm only playing 4. 2 Cycles, 1 Kaleidoscope, and 1 Mirror. Very awkward ratio, I'm aware. Most deck lists out there are playing 2 of each, or cutting the Kaleidoscope to 1 still, and playing 2 mirrors. And although that's not incorrect, I still find that a little bricky, especially how the fast the game has become and how resilient this deck is now that it has everything at 3. You can just have access to anything you want, anytime you want, which is just insane to think about. Yes, you can banish these. Again, I guess if people don't know, the Nekroz ritual spells have 3 effects. The regular ritual summon mechanic that you can summon a ritual monster from your hand, in this case from the graveyard. But they all have special abilities to grant the ritual spell as well. For example, like I stated with this, you can ritual summon any monster from your hand and or graveyard, which makes it the best by tributing monsters from your field and or hand. Very good. This one lets you ritual summon a monster from your hand using monsters you control, but you can also banish Nekroz monsters from your graveyard to fulfill the requirements for the ritual summon, which makes it really good as your last ritual spell for the turn. Or if you're like losing and you just have a big ritual monster like Decisive Armor and it's a top deck wars, you can just go and banish your Nekroz mirrors, search this one, and ritual summon for free essentially. Very good. I never really wanted to see a second one in my hand. Don't want to clog, do not want to brick. And Kaleidoscope is one of the main plays of the deck, the bread and butter. The Kaleidoscope Unicore play is the main play, the heart and soul of the deck. If you start with that play alone, it lets you have a very good board control and a consistency factor combined with it, since the Herald of Arclight will be sent to the graveyard thanks to the special effect that Kaleidoscope provides by sending any monster from your extra deck to ritual summon. You can summon a number of ritual monsters, and Herald is a level 4, Unicore is a level 4, so it turns into a Rhoda with a Floodgate on. Very, very good. Just 4, no more. Again, the deck can get him back with ease with Unicore now being a 3. It's a lot easier to do. Preparation of Rites is a 3, so you can reuse your spells turn after turn, which is really, really strong. And another way to recycle them is with Impcantations. And I am playing a small suite of these guys as well. I'm playing 2 Slime, 2 Potatoes, 2 Pencil Plumes, 1 Flame, and 1 Bookstone. I guess I'll explain this as well while I'm here. So the Impcantations are probably the best ritual support we've gotten in a very long time. Pre-prep of Riot was amazing, but that card only works with specific ritual decks. You can't really play in this deck. It would be amazing if you could. Preparation of Rites, I already went over it, one of the best cards in the deck. Prep has an ability to search the slime, since he is level 7, and the slime, by activating its effect in hand and discarding any card, he can turn himself into any of the incantations, which they all have excellent effects. Highly utility, adds more to the consistency of the deck, so it makes it even more consistent, a lot faster and a lot more powerful. This deck adds a lot to the deck, and I would never cut it. I hope that everybody in the ritual plays this in the ritual decks. They're just that good. No reason to cut these. And one of the main reasons why I'm not doing Pot of Desires in the deck. Drawing 2 cards is really good, but you don't want to banish these guys. I'm already sad when I draw any of them in my hand. You just want to special summon them from the deck. I am playing the Augusto Emerald, so playing one of each of these is just fine. I can recycle them turn after turn. If you summon your Emerald and protect it with a Valkyries, you will be able to shuffle all of them and restart your engine, which is really cool. I already went over this. Special summon any of these guys. When it's summoned from the deck, you can add a ritual monster. When summoned from the deck, add a ritual monster from the graveyard, much like Unicore. This is usually going to be recurring, that the Valkyries and or Brio to be a follow-up. When this is summoned from the deck, it lets you add a ritual spell, which we have six ways to add a ritual spell on top of those ritual spells themselves. So there's like 10 of them without having 10 copies. This lets you recur back a ritual spell. The levels actually matter a lot. I'm happy that with the levels they went, they allowed the deck to be a lot more resilient, since the Nekroz ritual spells and the monsters themselves won't let you ritual summon monsters with the same level as they. So you need to combine any number of stars. And the last incantation card that I play is the spell card, Incantation Inception, which is my favorite card in the entire engine. One of the better cards, honestly. Like any other ritual spell card, it lets you summon somebody from the hand, and in this case, any ritual monster in the game, by tributing incantation monsters from your field or hand. You can exceed the level of the ritual monster you would be summoning, which is really neat. Sometimes you have a lot of levels and just a few stars that you need to meet. And the reason why this card is even better is because incantations, as good as they are, you don't want to keep them on field, and it's another reason why Valkyries is the main focal point, so you can tribute these guys and draw cards. When they are face up on the field, you cannot access your extra deck. And even though this deck hardly ever does that, you still want to have the option to go into rank 4, since rank 4s are still very powerful. So this card allows you to ritual summon, get rid of your incantations, to ritual summon one of your Nekroz, so you can ritual summon up to 4 times per turn, which is really cool. It raises the ceiling of the deck, but the graveyard effect is the reason why I like it the most. If it's in the graveyard, you can add it to the hand, send a face-up incantation monster or one from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one from the deck, and then add this back. So you are going to be getting a +1 by itself, and then any incantation monster from your deck. Most of the time it's probably going to be this, to get you a Rhoda for a follow-up, or you can summon Pencil Plume. You can summon Pencil Plume and get back a Trishula to protect your Unicore, or get back a Brio instead of searching it. Sometimes you want to ritual summon the Brio over discarding it, so it's a way to go and fetch you extra copies of Brio Knack, which is always nice. And the Pencil Plume can also go and get us the next card, which is Benton, just a 1 copy. I can't see myself playing a Nekroz deck without this card in the main deck. It has a lot of synergy with the best card in Brio Knack. They're both level 6. We never ritual summon this card ever. Sometimes we do, since Incantation and Section can ritual summon anybody, so we can just put the extra damage. But Benton serves one purpose, and that is to search one of our missing pieces. One of them is Manju. We all know Manju from any and all ritual decks. It's on summon, it's a +1 that gets us any ritual piece we're missing. I'm only doing the 1 because I don't have that any normal summons in this deck except for Manju, but the deck doesn't really ever rely on that. And being searchable through Benton, it allows me to still perform my rank 4 plays. The Valkyries, Unicore, Manju play, which is in my opinion the best starter in the deck, allows you to go +2 just for having a Manju in the deck. Plus Abyss Dweller still exists, and Abyss Dweller gets a attack boost if you have water monsters, and it gives your water monsters an extra 500. So Dweller and Valkyrie is still very, very strong. And for the second target for Ben 10, 1 Vanity's Ruler. Excellent card. As we all know, Vanity's Fiend won't let any player special summon. However, this guy stops our opponent only from special summoning. So it's highly searchable with Ben 10, and the Incantations are our prime target to tribute summon. He is a level 8, so it requires 2 tributes. It's not even that bad, honestly. He's just good. He's in the main deck for the random game ones that we just win freely by summoning this dude and just keeping it there. If they have the impermanence, well, they got us, but they still have to fight through our board. And if we have a Valkyries to prevent them from killing it, they're going to be staring at a floodgate again. So a very good card, just the one. If he is dead in your hand, you can send him to the graveyard with Valkyries to draw cards, and then you can recycle it with the Gusto Emerald. Definitely play one, good card. One of the, I guess the last engine that I'm playing in the deck, and the one I decided to play over any of the pot cards. Extravagance is great again, but not being able to draw, that just turned me off on it. Desires, it's a little too risky in this deck, and Magician's Soul does 2 awesome things, 2 very good things for the deck. One of them is a body, so it lets you put himself in the body by sending a level 6 or higher spellcaster from your deck. So our prime target for that, or the only one target that we have in the main deck, it's Valkyries. He is a level 6 or higher spellcaster. He's a level 8. And Valkyries is the focal point of the deck, so if we can have access to a Valkyries without really drawing him or using any of your search cards, we can just put him in the graveyard, cycle it back, thanks to Magician Souls, put him in the graveyard, so we have access to a Valkyries, a Magician Souls that can be discarding extra spell cards that we have, or ritual spells that we can go get back with Preparation of Rites. So Magician Souls turbos out the deck, getting us to a Valkyries immediately, and being a body as well for a link play. Again, the deck does not rely on its extra deck, but there are certain cards I want to have access to, like Nightmare Phoenix, Cerberus, or Unicorn, which in this case I'm only playing Phoenix. But that's one of the main plays, or one of the main reasons why I play Magician Souls. It's a consistency card. It's a body for Valkyries to tribute, and it has amazing synergy with the Incantation Inception. Incantation Inception, like I explained earlier, you can, if it's in the graveyard, you can add it to the hand, send an Incantation face up or on the hand to add it back, and then special someone else. So you want this card in the graveyard. Magician Soul does that for you. It allows you to put it in the graveyard without ritual summoning. Sometimes you are sending this on the end of your turn as your 7th card, and that's too slow. So I wanted to find a way to abuse this while still keeping consistency. Magician Soul allows you to do that. It's very good, very underrated in Nekroz. It's being played in a lot of other strategies, but I don't think I've ever seen it in this deck play like this. And I have to say, it brings a lot of different plays to the deck. It makes it more consistent, faster, aggressive. Very good card. If you want to try this online, feel free. Let me know how it works. I'm aware this card's a little pricey right now, but it definitely makes up for the power level. For the last 3 cards in my main deck, I'm doing 3 Nibiru as my hand trap of choice. This is the new Maxi. You just gotta have this in your deck. This is the only hand trap that puts a stop to a lot of silly combos, and we don't want to really be fighting unbreakable boards. We can deal with a negate or 2, but we can't deal with like 5 negates or like infinite pluses. So Nibiru allows us to reset the board, giving us a fighting chance, and we don't really mind committing to a board and Nibiruing ourselves, since Unicore and Valkyries can be summoned again from the grave or recycle to our hand to ritual summon. So very good card. Definitely play this as your hand trap. If you don't have access to this, you can play Dark Ruler No More or Impermanence. I tried Evenly Match, but Evenly Match was being negated every time I played it. Nibiru, it's uncounterable, and Impermanence can't get called by the grave. Which that's another card that I decided to cut from my deck. Called by the grave. The Ash Blossom hurts sometimes, but I much rather have consistent hands and have at least one blowout for their turn. And having multiples of these is not even bad ever. So that's for the main deck, 41 cards. Very consistent. Again, very, very good. I'm very happy with the deck list. Definitely check it out. You'll have a lot of fun, I promise. For the extra deck, just utility, rank 4s, and some synchros for us to kaleidoscope multiple monsters out. For the first target, Herald of Arclight, we all know what it does. It's being played in everything, and I'm extremely surprised this card did not get touched in any way. There's no way for us to synchro summon this in game 1s, but post side deck we play Ash Blossom and Ogre, so with Magician Souls we can make a Herald of Arclight. That's a hard negate, and Arclight has a very good effect in this deck because we are playing a ritual deck. So after we negate something, we just get a quick +1 from the adding back or adding a ritual monster. Most times than not, it's going to be Brionac. 2 of them, since Unicore is at 2 and we want to resolve the play as many times as we can. Level 8 Synchro or level 8 monster can be absolutely anything, but I decided to make it Beals. It's just cool. You can summon it if they give you a level 4 Dark Tuner. That's never going to happen, but Beal's cool. We just want it for those instances where we need to crawl into a rank 4 at the end of a play. We can send this to summon 2 Unicorns through Kaleidoscope, go aggressive, or hit them for 46, and then make a Dweller in their main phase too. Sometimes Dweller is a lot better than a Unicorn, or we can summon Baguska with those 2 Unicorns, Emerald to strike with certain things, and the only way we could do that is if we have a level 8 in our extra deck. So Beals. Star Eater comes up. Again, the level is all we need, and this is the only level 11, I believe, in the game. There might be another one, but Star Eater has been my extra deck since the beginning of the deck, and it does come up to ritual summon a Valkyries and a Colossal Loss to help us break a board while keeping our Valkyries face up. Very good. Now that we need to be a little more aggressive turn after turn, we need to play 2 level 12 synchros for Kaleidoscope plays. There's 2 different combinations of monsters you can summon, one of them being Valkyries and Unicore, and Trishula and Colossal Loss. So both of them are very good together, and they do a lot of damage to our opponent's board. So I found myself needing a second copy of a level 12 Synchro. So I decided to bump it up and cut some things from my extra deck. Just those 2 for those certain plays. Another target for the uni play, since Unicore Kaleidoscope is bread and butter. Our opponent has a set Solemn Strike waiting for a Trishula, or a Call by the Grave waiting for a Brio to hit. Entis can take care of the cards that we can't with the main deck. We're not playing any back removal. Decisive Armor and Trishula are the only ones that allow us to do that. So Entis being accessible through the main play, it's really good. Definitely play the one. For rank 4s, I'm playing utility ones. Emerald recycles our engine. Mid to late game it's an all-star. A very good card. Definitely have a 1. If he ever goes to 2, I'll play a second one. So we can have infinite engine. You recycle the emeralds back and forth. Abyss Dweller. It recently was at 2 in my list, but then I cut it to 1. But I think I will be adding a second copy. This is a water deck. You can make Dweller fairly easy. Unicorn being at 3 allows us to do that. I don't need to say much about this card besides it's just game. I'm thinking of adding a second copy to my deck. That got Evil Storm Exciton Knight. It's a win button. Post side deck against back row decks, summon an Exciton Knight with an MST or a Cosmic Cyclone, and it's over. You just win the game. This card is a reset button. Just play it. The deck could use all the power, really. Tornado Dragon. Sometimes you will be playing against field spell decks or trap decks, and I stated that trap decks are our biggest weakness. We can't really fight through Solemn cards or Floodgates. Tornado Dragon being face up, then a Unicorn is a lot better against those matchups. So I wanted to have an MST, an option to blow out our opponent's back row. Baguska is the original VFD. He just sits there and stops our opponents from doing essentially anything. It can be a pot of greed, but just passing turns to just draw cards, and our opponent can't really do anything if they're playing anything that any fusions, synchros, or XCs. They just sit there, and it's really good for the deck, allowing us to draw an extra cards and unlock our hand. Baguska's just nuts. Narla, no Acetoth, of course, is banned, but Narla has a very cool application in the deck, in that lets us recycle the Herald of Arclight from our graveyard or the Anthus. when it's once per turn, you can detach all the materials that it has to target a monster in the graveyard and attach it as a material. So after the Unicore play, you will send search one with the Herald. Then you can get rid of it with Valkyries to draw a card, and then the Arclight will trigger again since it's not once per turn. It just needs to be sent to the graveyard. So the Arclight's really cool for that play alone. It lets you go +2 of a rank 4 play. Very, very neat. For the only Link monsters that I'm playing, one Phoenix. The deck struggles with back row again. Magician Soul is a way to put an extra monster on board, so Magician Soul's Manju or Unicore, blowing up a floodgate for us to perform a big ritual summon and go aggressive, potentially kill our opponent. Nightmare Phoenix, very good, just have a searchable MST essentially. And for the last Link monster, I'm playing a scary one, but it's a very special one as well. I'm sure you've never seen this card being summoned or played on any deck list ever, because it's only useful in ritual decks. It has 3 different effects based on the number of ritual monsters you use, and you can use any monsters, but you need to use at least 1 ritual to make it worth it. If you Link summon this with 1 ritual, it can be destroyed by battle, and it can be destroyed by battle. If you use 2 rituals, it can be destroyed by battle by card effects, and it gains 1200 attack. So it's a base 24. If you use 2 rituals, it'll be base 36. It can be destroyed by battle by card effects. And if you use 3 rituals, you can't be destroyed by battle by card effects, and it gains 12 twice. So it'll be a 48 untargetable, indestructible beater. Against control decks, after you do a huge push, instead of keeping your ritual monsters that they'll probably have an answer to, just get rid of all of them to summon this guy, and I promise you they will not be able to come back. This card alone beats control, and having that option is too hard to pass. I decided to keep in the extra deck. I hardly ever summon it, but when I do, it's game. I'm not complaining about that effect. Honestly, it's a lot of fun to play. Alright, if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you for staying tuned and for making it to the end. If you made it this far, please like the video if you like the deck as well. A lot of work went into this deck, a lot of theorizing, lots of hours spent making this current list, which I'm very happy about, and I hope you guys liked it as well. Go try the deck out online if you don't have the cards in real life, and I promise you'll have a lot of fun. If you guys have a deck list of your own, again, post it down below. I'll be glad to check it out. If you have a video of it, even better. I will be uploading some gameplay with this against certain decks, a few matches. The next one that I have coming up, it's against ABC, which will be playing under the new June 2020 ban list. Expect that one of these days. I'll probably upload it tomorrow afternoon or Thursday afternoon. So do check out the channel for that. Again, subscribe if you haven't already. One more thing, I will be streaming on Mixer.com. I will post the link down below, so check it out if you guys want to come on and say what's up, hang out for a little bit. We'll play some Yu-Gi-Oh games, some Call of Duty. We can play Day by Daylight. So I'll be posting the link down below. So if you have the time, come say what's up, hello, let's hang out for a little bit. And as always, stay tuned for more content. Thank you for watching. Alex out. Peace.